I think you're saying my name right.
I'm working on it.
Mhm.
All right, so you have a motion for a bond.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Has the bond been set or no?
He's currently remanded without bond. I did file just this morning a motion for PR bond because I did associate that with the newly indicted case.
Mhm.
And I did file this writ as a result of going over the 90 days
Mhm.
without indictment. We're currently at the 111th day.
Mhm.
And as per Odyssey court records, the matter was indicted yesterday.
Mhm.
And I know that as per 17.151, the initial burden is on the state to make a prima facie showing that the case was indicted within the 90 days, and I don't believe that has been done.
All right. Was the case indicted within the 90 days?
No.
All right. And so what are you requesting before we go on the record?
A PR bond, Your Honor. My client is indigent. He can't make really any.
Okay, all right. So we'll go on the record. I'm just trying to figure out
Oh, yes.
what's happening. So you requested a PR bond. The state has already said they didn't indict within 90 days. All right, court is calling 2025 CR 00. Oh, before I go on the record, have you had a chance to review the state's file
Regarding the newly filed case,
regarding, is there another case other than the unauthorized use of vehicle?
felony, no, ma'am. He has a couple of misdemeanors.
All right, have you had a chance to confer with the state on this?
Not on this judge because I did see some preliminary offense reports, but the matter just did get indicted yesterday.
What do you have in your file? Or you reviewed the state's file?
Well, the thing is, Judge, that I'm kind of pressed for time this morning. That's why I came here early to get this hearing before the court. And then I was going to request the PR bond also because I need time to review that discovery with my client, the videos, and all the reports. And since this matter just got indicted, that really triggered me to see about going upon my client's defense, knowing that the state was finally going to move on his case. So,
Right, and you have all of the videos, correct?
I have no idea. It just says it just got indicted yesterday, Judge. I have not been able to look into that. My efforts have been focused on the writ.
All right, does anybody know what his criminal history is?
Locally, yes.
All right, let me see.
PG 1 1 to 4, for which he was sentenced. A felon possessed firearms. It seems as though it was dismissed. Give me a moment to check on that, Judge.
Okay.
That was dismissed.
All right, so what is his NC?
Authorized use of a motor vehicle for which he was sentenced.
Does he have any out-of-state history?
Don't know, Judge.
Can you run that to see if he has out-of-state history?
I cannot. I can ask our investigator to run it.
All right, if you have the investigator run that.
We never lived in the United States. No. Your Honor, would it suffice if my client under oath testified as to his potential out of state record? He's saying he never lived out of state, has no offenses anywhere out of state.
Okay, and I'm looking on my system too, but the system is running slow. All right, the court is calling 2025 CR 006612 State versus Luis Antonio Gandaria.
Yeah.
Sorry, Junior. Could I have parties announced?
Andrew Harris Edelman for the state. Rene Munoz on behalf of Mr. Gandaria.
And are you Mr. Gandaria?
Yes.
Right. Counsel, you've filed a motion for a bond. And off the record, both parties agreed that your client had not been indicted within the 90-day time period. So what are you asking for, counsel? We're respectfully asking for a personal recognizance bond. My client has been in custody for the last 111 days, not able to make bond. He does not have any kind of resources in terms of having a job or employment to make bond, as well as friends and family are limited, that they will not be able to have him make a sufficiently bond if reduced. That's for the foregoing reasons why we're requesting a motion for personal recognizance bond
due to and using the mechanism of the 17.15 writs that was shown to be in violation of in this instance.
All right, do you want to call your client with regards to the amount of bond he's able to make?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Luis Antonio Ganaria Jr.
All right, you're gonna need to slow it down because the court reporter has to take everything down. And if you'll speak up so the court reporter can hear and so I can hear. All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Gandaria, are you currently in custody at the Bexar County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been in custody there?
And I've been locked up since November 9th.
Okay. Then you got out and then you've been in custody since February, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, are you currently employed?
No.
Do you currently have any amount of savings that would allow you to make a bond if the bond were set at a certain amount?
No.
Okay. Do you have any family or friends that would be able to assist you in making a bond that the court may set?
I don't have a dad. I only have a mom.
Okay, so you need to speak up. And
Only-
I know you're speaking
only-
towards him, but
I only have a dad. I don't have a dad. I have a mom.
Okay.
And it's on mom.
Okay. And then your mom, is she employed?
Yes, but you only how much?
Oh, so
Yeah.
she makes a little money to sustain herself and her
Yes.
household. Okay. Have you lived or resided anywhere outside the state of Texas?
No,
Okay. Do you have any criminal history outside of the state of Texas?
I do not.
Are you swearing that under oath today for the court?
Swear I know it. Oh, I don't have any warrants or been out of Texas. Anything.
If you are able to make bond, would you attend all court sessions as required?
I will.
Would you follow conditions of bond if the court were to set them?
I will.
If the court required you to check in with the pretrial officer, would you check in with that office as required?
I will.
Those for the questions, Judge.
all right, any questions?
A few. I want to make sure that I understand this correctly, Mr. Gandaria. You were originally arrested on September 27, 2024, correct?
Yes.
And you were released pending that court appearance?
Yes.
And subsequent to that, you were arrested and charged with the offenses of evading arrest and the instant offense, unauthorized use of a vehicle, correct?
Yes.
So you are still pending trial for the September 27th, 2024 offense, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just a couple follow-ups, Judge. Regarding those offenses that the prosecutor listed, have you been found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt as to any of those offenses?
No.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
All right, I do have some questions of him, but I have some procedural questions. So with regards to the cases, the evading arrest, detention, and the burglary of the vehicle, were those cases alleged to have been committed before or after this case?
The burglary of the vehicle, as far as I'm aware,
Mhm.
occurred prior to the instant offense. The evading arrest arises out of the same criminal episode.
All right.
As far as I can determine.
All right, so then my next procedural question, with regards to the burglary of the vehicle. I'm assuming he had that case pending, then he bonded out. And then that's when he's alleged to have committed unauthorized use of a vehicle and evading arrest, detention.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for understanding the timeline.
All right. Now I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever had any type of mental health diagnosis or been on any type of medication for mental health issues?
When I was younger, I was bipolar. So bipolar.
All right. Everyone, we're on the record. Then my other question for you is, have you ever had any type of drug use in the past?
Like growing up, yeah.
All right. And what would that be?
We.
Anything other than weed?
I mean,
Everyone, we're on the record. Please stop talking to the right of me because I'm trying to concentrate on what they're saying. Yes. So other than the weed,
I mess around with meth, but not so much
how long has that been?
in years.
Years? How many years?
5.
All right. Any other questions?
Not from the state.
All right.
Nothing's been-
So defense, I know that you're requesting a PR bond state.
17.151 speaks of at least one of two alternatives: release on a personal bond or by reducing the amount of bail required. So it seems to me that considering Mr. Gandaria's recent criminal history, release on a personal bond does not seem wise. His current bond is set at $5,000. Considering the relative paucity of information provided by the defendant, for instance, that he has not actually brought in any other witnesses to testify to their financial circumstances to substantiate his lack of ability to make bond, the state recommends a reduction to $2,500.
Your Honor, in response to that, 17.151 does not state that a PR bond is triggered or a reduction is triggered because of, with respect to criminal history, severity of offense. The bottom line boils down issue is the state did not move on this in a timely fashion, and this has caused myself as defense counsel to now just at the 110th day have access to these things, which slows down the court, slows down the judicial process. Relative to this, the violation of 17.15 has been shown. Thus, it's triggered for the court, obviously, to determine if the PR bond is whether to be granted or not. And my client testified, believe honestly, that he can't make any kind of substantial sum to a bond. And because he's been in custody with 110 days and hasn't bonded out, also further represented by the Bexar County Public Defender's Office, has been shown to be indigent. That's why he was appointed to the Bexar County's the Public Defender's Office to begin with. That we're asking for a PR bond to be granted, so he has the chance to prepare for his defense, not in custody, and it's not any fault of his. These are just allegations. Nothing has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and he's been waiting patiently for the opportunity to defend himself of this charge, which has just arose in terms of a formal indictment yesterday. So for those foregoing reasons, Judge, we're respectfully requesting a PR bond that will lead to the efficiency of this case being resolved and his constitutional rights being intact due to a lack of timeliness on the state to indict his case.
May I make one further remark, Your Honor?
Yes.
It seems to me that perhaps 17.151 is not applicable in this case to begin with, because Section 2 of that article provides that the provisions of this article do not apply to a defendant who is, subsection 2, being detained pending trial with another accusation against the defendant as to which the applicable period has not yet elapsed. And that seems to be the case in cause number 2025 CC 002343, for which the defendant was taken into custody, as far as I can tell, on February 12th of 2025, and information was timely filed, and he is pending trial on that accusation.
All right. And that's why I was asking the parties, the legal process as far as the time. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to grant the PR bond. I'm going to set your bond at $5,000, grant a PR bond. I'll ask that the fees be waived. There's to be no driving. There's to be regular UAs, a referral to for Center for Healthcare Services just based upon what he said about his previous mental health. Any other conditions state you will request?
Partial GPS tracking, Judge.
We'd oppose that, Your Honor. If he's going to be going to regularly UAs and referral for CHCS appointments, we would request as limited movement to curtail him trying to get himself into services and treatments. He has this case as well as the misdemeanor cases he would still need to make bond on or have a judge rule on that. And he's already agreed to make all appointments as required and show up to court and kind of do some kind of deference in terms of him showing up to court or not. And if he doesn't show up, then more than obviously there, he's not, with the understanding that he's not going to be let out because his case has already been indicted. But since just the indictment just happened yesterday, we're requesting that he be allowed leave to attend some of these appointments to get to the root cause of what may be causing him to enter the criminal justice system.
All right, and the court will note for the record that the court does not, and I've done the research, the court does not see any violent history in his past that would warrant GPS. But I do know that there is an issue with him driving vehicles that do not belong to him. And I'm basing that upon the indictment where you've been previously convicted of unauthorized use of a vehicle. So the court's conditions will stand. Ms. Ferguson, on this case, I need a 30-day reset. And that is going to be a plea deadline date. You all will need to confer off docket.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll review that discovery in a timely fashion and we'll be here ready for court.
Can we not do it that week?
I might have some July 4th plans one week myself, Judge.
Yeah, that's why I was like, maybe people will have plans. All right, it's going to be July 10th. Ms. Ferguson, if you'll give him a reset form, thanks.